hardship for people who use local border crossings. New York has now officially filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration over the trusted traveler ban. It's the new federal policy that prohibits New Yorkers from enrolling or re-enrolling in trusted traveler programs like Nexus. The lawsuit argues that the policy change is arbitrary and poses a threat to New Yorkers' safety and the state's economy. 7 Eyewitness News reporter Ed Riley has more on both sides as the debate over these hot-button issues ramps up.
And it's cruel politics. The goal is to punish New York, and it does not take a political science person to figure that out.
Several Buffalo and Niagara Falls officials are worried that prohibiting New Yorkers from enrolling in trusted traveler programs will only hurt cross-border tourism, employment, and commerce.
This is nothing but retaliation.
25% of people who cross the Peace Bridge use Nexus, with 60% of truckers using Fast.
You're going to create log jams not just for people who formerly were Nexus holders, but also for law-abiding citizens who are trying to travel.
The officials wonder why New York is being targeted when several other states have similar laws allowing undocumented immigrants to get a driver's license.
It has significant impact on my ability to market Niagara Falls.
During a separate news conference with federal law enforcement, U.S. Attorney James Kennedy said New York State's green light law is the only one that prohibits sharing DMV information with federal customs and border agencies.
This forces the officers who serve as our nation's frontline defense against dangerous criminals to approach vehicles without knowing who owns it and without being able to confirm the identity of the driver of it.
Kennedy and the state's 3 other U.S. attorneys signed a statement saying lack of access to DMV information is posing a grave safety risk at border crossings, for agents doing infield surveillance, and even with suspicious boaters.
Frequently, we will use electronic means to try to verify somebody before we even talk to them.
Law enforcement said they cannot determine if vehicles are stolen, if warrants are outstanding, or if people in the vehicle are part of a human trafficking operation.
They feel they're isolated out there with no information.
And the impact of the law is not just being felt here at this border. Federal law enforcement said agents doing investigations in places like Florida and the southern border are also not able to get information they need from the New York State DMV. In Buffalo, Ed Riley, 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, let's take you in depth here because there is a lot to unpack with this trusted traveler ban. What people keep asking me is, when will this political tug of war be over so I can get my Nexus back? At this point, there's really no timeline in sight. The state attorney general's office has not asked a judge for a stay or an injunction separate from their lawsuit. And without that injunction, the federal government's ban is in play. A UB law professor I spoke with says it could take months for a judge to rule on this lawsuit. The state attorney general's office tells me it's looking at all legal options, but if you need to renew your Nexus or you're applying to a trusted traveler program, based on my conversation with that law professor, don't hold your breath. According to that lawsuit, about 175,000 New Yorkers currently enrolled in trusted traveler programs have memberships that expire this year. Switching gears.